out there, if I get seen, then I have an opportunity. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them for having aspirations, Luke. But it is such a racket to try to figure out which ones to go to, which ones are worth your money, which ones aren't, how far should you travel to go to a lot of these. If anybody tells you they have the answers, they're in it a lot more than you and I were. I can't remember. Let me throw one more out there. I'd never forget, I went probably 8 or 9 years ago. We had a good friend of ours who's on the program a lot, Shane Youngblood. Mm-hmm. And Shane was part of a camp in Birmingham. And I went up to it, and Dee Milner was really the top recruit there. And Dee Milner, I actually stood beside and saw him run a 4.29, 4.31, depending on what he ran that day. And it was a fun camp, and they probably had 250, 300 kids there, but there was 5, 6, 7 kids that had an opportunity to probably go play somewhere. Yep. And it was close by, but it cost money to go to. Not that it's a bad thing, Luke, but there are no answers. It is such a racket that you really have to go to someone that you trust to make a decision on this.
Yeah, one of the guys in the stories is a kid, and the story is a kid from Carver, Birmingham, he caught 8 touchdowns last year. It's pretty good for Carver, Birmingham. He had some nice yardage, et cetera, but he's 5'4", 124. I mean, the odds that he would get a scholarship anywhere are going to be very, very low. He may be awesome. It's funny, they're also doing AL.com, the best player that's ever been in the state of Alabama, 1 through 100. Guess who they had at number 100?
I saw it.
It is, first of all, it invalidates the list, and I'm going to ask Gary about it because they had David Palmer at number 100. David Palmer is in the top 3 to 5, if you ask me. You want to put John Hanna and Bo Jackson up there at 1 and 2 somewhere? And maybe I'm missing somebody. Leroy Jordan, you want to? Okay, I get it. Derek Thomas, okay. David Palmer needs to be in there. I'm telling you, he caught 60 passes in a Gene Stallings offense. That's the equivalent of catching 120 in anybody else's. Yeah. I mean, Gene Stallings only threw the ball when it was to the official after a touchdown. That's the only time he wanted to throw it. And David Palmer caught 60 passes in that offense. He was insane. He was incredible. He was unbelievable, and to put him at number 100. But it goes back to my whole point about this was he was unbelievably small, but he was quick as a hiccup, and he had an it factor. The one thing that Danny Amendola and your Wes Welkers have is they have an it factor, and so what it does, unfortunately, it gives some kids who are undersized a false sense of, I can do what he can do, when you can't do what they can do. Now, and so I'm all for everybody dreaming big. I'm all for everybody hoping they can get a scholarship and spend less money. But I'm reading this article and I'm seeing that some of these parents are spending upwards of $5,000 in a year to get a kid to school, and tuition, that may be about what tuition is.
They're looking at it as an investment. Let me tell you another thing that's going on, and it's in every sport, Luke. It's travel ball. And travel ball has also become big business. It's become big business. I'm going to talk about it in baseball terms. It's become big business. Yep. You end up on a travel ball team. You pay thousands of dollars to go and play and travel around with this travel ball team that's probably got a very successful coach, that's got some pedigree, and he can throw a piece of paper out there at you, and it's worthy to say how many kids that he's moved on and gotten an opportunity at the next level. And if you're sitting there and your kid's moderately good, you look at him and you go, if he gets seen, he deserves an opportunity to play at a Troy, a Jacksonville State. I can understand if he doesn't end up at Auburn or Alabama, but my boy's good enough to go play at one of these schools. Then you do have to make a decision if it's worth your while. And I've talked to many that feel like that it worked out really well for them to spend the $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 that it cost them in one summer, 3 to 5 of that going to the coach and to the team, and another 2,000 or 3,000 to go and travel around.
Right.
You travel all over God's green earth. You understand how much that costs to go do that, and to do it on the top level. You're traveling throughout the region. This is not a 100-mile travel.
That's right.
This is all over the place. So again, it's a racket, but sometimes it's a necessary evil.
I agree. It's just scary that it's come to this. And in the article, I think there's some unintended consequences here. some of the players and some of the coaches and parents say, we have some kids that just try to show out on Friday night. Well, they better go to these camps and they better show out because that's really where you can make your hay. Coaches can look at a player, for instance, Darren Lake, who committed to Alabama a while back, played at Alabama for a while. You look at his stats were nothing. I mean, his stats were they just weren't good. But he was so big that Saban got to look at him at a camp and said, I want to take him. I'll see what I can do with him. It gives me clay to mold with. But the unintended consequence of that could be kids don't try as hard on Friday nights and focus more on the camps and quit worrying about the team aspect of it, quit worrying about what they're playing for, which is to win the game. It's a really intriguing storyline, and he did a great job. It's a fantastic story. AL.com, go check it out by Gary Estwick, but we'll have him on soon.
Love to hear from you, 800-782-0108, 256-234-6221. And, Luke, we'll close out this segment staying on this topic because we could talk about it. And we're high school guys, so it's worthy of our time to talk about this. We move into the college ranks, of course, but a lot of our free time during these months talking about recruiting because we love it. And finding those diamonds in the rough that aren't the 6'3", 215-pound safety projected, maybe gets large enough to end up at a jack or an outside backer, finding the ones that aren't that prototypical size and how they judge which ones of those are worthy of their time is beyond me. Is it not to you? Because I've seen so many of them. Let's take at Alabama over the years. You'll go out there and you'll get, his name's escaping me, but Alty Tenpenny was a smaller guy, but he wasn't as small as the 5-star, one of the top running backs in the country that y'all had come in, and he ends up not. Smaller guy, though. And
well, there was Tyron Jones. Alty Tenpenny, I think, came in with Derrick Henry, Tyron Jones, and Kenyon Drake.
A year or two before him.
Okay.
Big U.S. Army All-American or Under Armour All-American game guy that he announced during one of the ball games. Long story short, I'll pull it up. But he's small. And if he wasn't the top-rated running back in the country, he was one of the top 2 or 3. And he ends up at Alabama, and it doesn't work out. I think he has some decent moments on special teams. You'll remember his name here whenever we go to break.
Yeah.
Let's keep talking about that a little bit more as we move into the next segment because it really is very, very hard to make a decision on because you're wondering which is Steph Curry out there.
Well,
Who is it?
Yeah, because you don't want to miss out on a guy. We talked about him a million times on this show, and that's Keith Mixon, who's gone to Mississippi State. Yeah. Now, he hadn't made a lot of noise yet, but I was a firm believer that's a guy. That's your diamond in the rough. If you're going to take a chance on somebody, that's who I'd want to take a chance on. Wrote a big article about him for B Metro. I just liked the kid, thought he had an it factor about him. Now, it may not work out, and that's why Saban gets paid a lot of money to determine who he thinks is going to be a star on the college level, and he's done a pretty doggone good job of it. But there are times when Alabama and Auburn miss kids. There's a linebacker at Vanderbilt from the state of Alabama. He's going to be an first-team All-SEC.
Jordan Matthews.
Yeah, Jordan Matthews from Vanderbilt, of course. He played in the state of Alabama. I mean, there are a lot of kids that play in this state that Alabama and Auburn don't chase, and then they go somewhere and they do well, and you think, well, God, how'd you miss that guy? Well, there are a million reasons you miss that guy. Terrell Owens, for instance. Nobody could have foreseen that he would go to UT Chattanooga and lift weights until he fell asleep every night. He lifted weights in his sleep. He put in the time for several reasons. Number one, he had the drive. But number two, he was up there and he's a shy guy. At the time he was. I know people may not believe it now. He was pretty shy. And he goes up there and he's bored. And he instead of going out and doing something crazy, he went to the gym. And it worked out well for him. He had a lengthy NFL career because of it. So sometimes kids develop late or what have you. But for the most part, college coaches are going to err on the side of, are you big? Are you strong? Are you fast? And forget about the performance side of it. They'd rather have somebody they can mold. And you know what? It comes from the NFL, comes from the NBA. Yeah. Think about how many times NBA teams draft a kid before there was the one-and-done rule when you could go out of high school. They draft a high school kid and you'd say, why are you taking that guy when you've got this guy who played 4 years at, I don't know, say Marquette, and he killed it the whole time. And you say, yeah, but he's 4 years older, and we know what he can do. He's topped out. We don't know what this high school kid could. They'd rather take the sight unseen kid with the potential than the known quantity.
Let's go ahead and take a break. 256-234-6221, 800-782-0108. Want to thank our great sponsors here on Sportz Blitz Live, JR Sports Bar and Grill, and S&S Discount Tire. More of Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Is our number one concern. Advanced Heat and Air.
Whether it's hot or cold, let Advanced Heating and Air make sure your house is ready for any season. If any of your equipment needs serviced or replaced, now is a great time to call us. Get 0% financing for 60 months with approved credit. Whether you need your system serviced or it's time for something new, call Advanced Heating and Air today.
Your comfort is our number one concern. Advanced Heat and Air.
The Sure Shot, located on Highway 280 in Alexander City, is Lake Martin Sportsman's headquarters. In the market for a new rifle or shotgun? Come to the Sure Shot. Want a new bow or need to practice with the one you have? Come to the Sure Shot. Thinking about a firearm for self-defense? Come to the Sure Shot. Got a hunt planned and need some gear? Come to the Sure Shot. For all your archery, shooting, and hunting needs, let the Sure Shot be your first stop.
If your New Year's resolution is to stop walking and start riding, then resolve yourself to run to Lake Martin Truck and Auto on Old Dadeville Road. Lake Martin Truck and Auto is the bank, and you don't need to worry about past credit, getting your tax money, or finding the ride that suits you, because Lake Martin Truck and Auto has the lowest down payments and monthly payments in the area with the best selection. Don't let the Slick City dealer take all that tax money or hassle you with credit. Lake Martin Truck and Auto, Old Dadeville Road in Alex City.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Over the years, S&S Tire has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Alex City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Ready to put some fun in your life? Whether it's Central or East Alabama, North Alabama, West Georgia, or wherever you're from, Fun Carts of Opelika is your authorized E-Z-GO cart dealer that has no limits on a perfect E-Z-GO cart. Whether it's a fully customized cart or a stock-made cart, we'll deliver it on time and at the best price. Fun Carts gives you the service after the sale, so no matter if it's hunting, tailgating, motorhoming, fleet rental, or just a better way to get around, Fun Carts of Opelika has it and will customize it to your needs. Visit us in Opelika or call us or visit online for the best E-Z-GO carts. Put a little fun in your life with Fun Carts of Opelika.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Let's tell him it was D. Hart. It did kind of throw me off there because you're right, though. I mean, he did some specials team stuff. He ended up transferring to Colorado State. Teammates with Clinton Dix. Yeah. Everybody thought D. Hart was going to be – I mean, was pretty phenomenal. But everybody thought D. Hart would be kind of that guy. You're right. He was a 5-star, but he didn't have the measurables necessary. But he was built. He was just a little short. And it just didn't – work out.
He never looked the part once he was on the field, but yeah, you know, it's odd though. The receiver this year, top returning receiver for Alabama.
Calvin Ridley?
I mean, this guy, he's unbelievable. You can watch it on film, but to make a decision that guy's a lot more special than the next guy that's 6 foot, 170, 175 in high school, that the Tyree Gray type that you turn on the film and you go, what just happened? He just made all 8 of them look like they're fools out there on the field, and he just went 80 yards for a touchdown. It's impossible for me sitting here to say, I look at him at 165, 170 pounds, yet this one over here is so much better. Is it not really tough?
I think it's for instance, if you pulled up the top 20 players in the country, let me put it this way. You go back to that AL.com list of the top 100 players. They've got Julio Jones in there like 60-something, which is also ridiculous. But there's also a great article about Julio Jones is really helping the resurgence of Foley football. But ever since he was a sophomore, things have been better because everybody just knew as long as you got Julio Jones, you got a shot. You watch Julio Jones play, you just say, okay, you can have who you want to. I'll take that guy.
And you say that right now in the pros.
But you say that anytime. Now, Calvin Ridley may have been a little different because he's not as physically imposing. But if you watched his high school tape, and I love Tyree Gray. I love him. But you'd say, I see why that guy was the top receiver in the country. But I'm sort of like you. If you put Tyree Gray, we talk about Tyree Gray. He was a quarterback for Benjamin Russell last couple of years. And we've been trying our hardest to put his name out there as best we can. He ended up signing with Murray State.
And doing well, by the way.
But Tyree Gray, if you put his film up against some of these other kids that are considered 4-star kids, I would have a hard time myself differentiating. Yeah. But that's why they pay a lot of these guys. The evaluation process has gotten better top to bottom, meaning back in the day when it was just Forrest Davis doing these stars, and I have no problem admitting if Alabama was looking at you and it looked like you were going to Alabama, you may get a little bump from Forrest Davis. I have no problem saying that. But that was back in the day. Now, I don't think recruiting sites can afford to do that. If they're biased and people figure that out, they'll quit paying for the service. So I think Rivals and 24/7 and Scout, the ESPN, all of them do the best they can to be as unbiased as possible. But even there, now sometimes they'll be unanimous. They all have the same number 1 player in the country. Sometimes it's easy. Dylan Moses, linebacker out of Baton Rouge.
How good a chance do y'all have, by the way? Let me jump in.
Alabama's got a chance. He's going to take a visit October 1st for the Kentucky game.
He's been number 1 in his class since the 8th grade.
He has. He committed to LSU in the 8th grade pretty famously.
That, yeah.
But he's at least the number 3 player in the country by all accounts. And I think when you look at him, you say, okay, I just want that kid. I'll figure out where to put him. But there are some differences in who's a 5-star, who's a 4-star versus who's a 3. Some 5 stars or 3 stars on other services. It's
Speedy Noel's another one.
Yeah.
Out of the state of Louisiana was unbelievable. Kind of like one of those legends, like a Billy Cannon type. I mean, Speedy Noel had that type of charisma coming out of high school, and he ends up at Texas A&M, and he's been a good player, but he hasn't been exceptional at this point. If anything, Christian Kirk's overtaken him as the best athlete on that team.
Oh, I think far and away. But you wonder, I'll tell you, when I watched Speedy's film, and I think he's phenomenal, you wonder if he made the right, this is how important it is to make the right choice going to a college. Maybe he just went to the wrong place. Texas A&M has a very coddled atmosphere about it right now. It seems like Kevin Sumlin is the dreaded players coach, and I use the term dreaded I think correctly, because as a fan, I don't want a players coach anymore. I want somebody that's going to get after them and make them compete. I don't want any more players coddled. And it feels like at Texas A&M that, Kevin Sumlin's got that, well, I'm not real worried about it. Well, you should be. It's 52-0. Somebody ought to worry about it. And you're making $5 million a year. So you shouldn't be finishing 4th and 5th in the SEC West. So maybe he went to the wrong place. Maybe he should have gone somewhere else that's going to demand a little more of him. Who knows? I still think he's a fabulous player, and I think he can. If A&M can get a quarterback with any sense of direction and leadership, their receiving core is ridiculous.
Well, let's jump in there real quick here. We'll stay on recruiting until we head into the next break. And Auburn picks up a big recruit, and it's an immediate impact guy, and he's another one of those guys that is a D Hart size. A sub 4.4 guy that is the speedy 180, 185-pound, 4-star recruit that Baylor picks up. Auburn gets him as he gets released from his commitment there to Baylor. It's probably a very good get for Auburn at this point after Rock Thomas leaves.
I think it is a good get for Auburn, but I also, as an Alabama fan, it doesn't bother me because what is this guy famous for? The jet sweeps, a lot of speed, and I mean, I'm a firm believer that Auburn needs a between the tackles guy a little bit more. And I heard Brian Matthews today on Sports Call talk about, well, I've seen him run between the tackles, but you could see he was sort of sugarcoating that. And Javon Robinson, maybe he can run between the tackles a little more.
We're hoping as well.
Carry-on's coming off an injury. Honestly, if all things remaining equal, and I'm biased because I saw Rock Thomas a lot, if you tell me I could have one of those two, I'm taking Rock Thomas still, despite the fact that he had some issues the last couple years at Auburn. I still think he's got the potential to be very, very good. But it is a good pickup, especially late in the. And you wonder, maybe people should go back and re-rank recruiting classes just before the season starts. See who got into school, like Alabama. You take Mack Wilson, who's having surgery, probably. You wonder if it's going to keep him out for the year. This is a 5-star guy that you really got to take off Alabama's list right now. I mean, in terms of chance for immediate production.
Which is what 5-star means.
Which is what 5-star means. And you got to put Cam Martin on there for Auburn, I think. At the same time, you got to probably maybe deduct a little bit from Nick Coe because he hadn't been able to get there yet. I mean, it would be cool to go back and re-rank recruiting classes after the fact, seeing who's going to get into school, who's injured, who got picked up late. I mean,
Give some of your buddies that idea.
Huh?
Give some of your buddies that idea.
You know, I'm fresh out of buddies. I think I've run them all off.
Well, you're about to have a few on with you here tonight, so we'll talk about that. We'll go ahead and take another break here on Sports Blitz Live. When we come back, who are we catching up with at 7:30?
We're going to have Jimmy Stein from Crimson Country Club and Talking Tuscaloosa on.
Okay, well, there's one of your buddies.
There he is.
Where's Shane? What's Shane?
Shane is no longer in the recruiting biz. Okay. He's still a big Alabama guy, but he is doing some legal work in the Atlanta area. I think he just got burned out. You know, it was funny. He said his sleep schedule and work schedule didn't jive with the kids he was keeping up with. He said it was unbelievable. He said, I would call a kid all day to get an interview. He said, I'd call him up till 9 o'clock at night. I'd leave voicemails, I'd text, I'd do everything. And then at 3:30 in the morning is when they call me back. And he said, I got to get up and take it because that's the only time I could get him. And so he said it just wasn't conducive to a family environment.
It's got to be. He was great.
It's a grind.
We enjoyed having him on. He was one of our immediate guests. Probably a year or two into this thing, we had him on a whole lot, and we can't thank all of those guys enough. We'll have Brian Matthews up tonight. He caught up with us on Sports Call this afternoon, which he does every Tuesday. Jason Caldwell catches up with us on Sports Call on Thursday, so make sure to tune that in on 93.9 The Tiger, as well as sportscallauburn.com. But we appreciate you tuning in to Sports Blitz Live here on 97.5, Charter Channel 3 and Charter Channel 80 statewide. We'll go ahead and take a break. We'll come back. Jimmy Stein will be on with Luke.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Don't you know there's no clean like peaches and cream?
Wow, your carpets look fantastic.
Yeah, thanks to Peaches and Clean.
They look new again.
They also clean my kitchen tile.
Simply amazing. I'm calling Peaches and Clean today.
Just call 502-5326. Oh yeah, they have an area rug cleaning facility too.
Peaches and Clean is now expanded to the Alexander City Lake Martin Market. Give them a call at 334-502-5326.
Call us up at Peaches and Clean.
This sensation salad is so good. It's like change your life good. You have your own late night show?
And we are back! We're back with Sarah. Sarah, I'd like you to meet Liam. Liam and his lemur.
Life-changing? Maybe. Indescribably good? Definitely. The Sensation Salad is back. Chicken fingers, crispy wonton strips, Asian slaw, honey sesame sauce, and a veggie egg roll. Only at Zaxby's.
Wireless Advantage is Lake Martin's Verizon premium retailer, located in the Marketplace Shopping Center on Highway 280 in Alex City. We've got all the latest cell phones along with the latest Wi-Fi internet products, home phone options, and state-of-the-art tablets, all backed up by Verizon's premium nationwide network. Don't get caught in long lines. Get full Verizon service and products from Apple, BlackBerry, Droid HTZ, iPad, LG, Motorola, and Samsung right here at home. Visit Wireless Advantage in the Marketplace Shopping Center in Alexander City on Highway 280 for all your Verizon wireless needs.
When it's time to buy your teen's first vehicle, you think safety. Your teen thinks style. At Talladega Ford, we have style and safety. Ford has more 5-star safety-rated vehicles than any other car manufacturer. Ford goes that extra mile to make sure you are safe. Government safety standards are based on a 30-mile-per-hour crash. Ford goes a little further. We test our cars at 35 miles per hour. Come by Talladega Ford today so we can show you how safety and style go hand in hand.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, boat, homeowners, and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live. Luke Robinson. Going solo for just a minute here as I'm going to invite my guest, Mr. Jimmy Stein, my cohort on Talking Tuscaloosa, the podcast we do kind of weekly for sure in the football season, and in the summer, maybe every other week. And then, of course, one of the writers for Crimson Country Club as well, and really just internet legend. Jimmy, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good.
Has anybody ever called you an internet legend before?
Just you.
Well, if I keep saying it enough, maybe it'll stick. Let's talk a little Alabama right now. As first of all, Mack Wilson, the 5-star linebacker from Carver Montgomery, he has a knee surgery issue. He may or may not be ready for the season, may not play at all. What do you think about him and his prospects for 2016?
Yeah, that's 2 injuries now for Mack postseason. He had I think a shoulder injury before, and now the knee. So I think at this point, nothing's ever in writing. You never know how these kids are going to bounce back as far as their rehab goes. But gosh, with 2 surgeries after the season, a lot to learn. When you're not healthy, you can't be out there learning with the other guys. And I think it's not in stone, but I think it's fair at this point to guess that Mack is very likely to redshirt, and that's fine. Alabama's depth at linebacker is pretty good. He probably wasn't a guy they really needed to be a first or second team player anyway.
Cooper Bateman was at the Manning Passing Academy. How do you think he did there?
I've read various reports from guys. I think the most famous report so far, the one that's gotten the most attention from Alabama fans, has been that Phil Savage, who's one heck of an evaluator, he's been evaluating talent most of his professional career. He was there and said he was impressed with Cooper on the short and intermediate throws, but that his deep throws weren't very impressive. That really shouldn't surprise any Alabama fan that's seen Cooper play quite a bit. I wouldn't say what Phil Savage said was surprising in any way. I would just say in sort of defense of Cooper, or the idea that Cooper could still win this job, is that, Greg McElroy didn't have the biggest arm either. He wasn't exactly launching 80-yard balls to Julio in 2009 and 2010 all the time, and we won quite a few games with Greg. So, it definitely is not something that's an asset in Cooper's arsenal, and something he's got to work on, something he's got to get, bigger, stronger, better technique, better timing, because timing is an important thing on deep balls. But it's something Cooper has to overcome. But as of today, as of right now, if we're playing a game this weekend, Coach Saban's been pretty clear that Cooper would be the starting quarterback.
Recruiting, always a hot topic, even though it's a dead period right now. Alabama lost out on Wyatt Davis, an offensive lineman from California, commits to Ohio State, and to Aubrey Solomon, who commits to Michigan, even though a lot of people think that race isn't over, a defensive lineman out of Georgia.
Yeah, each year there are more and more decommitments and flipping around, and there's more flip-flopping than catching fish, really. I mean, it's crazy. And I think it's because the recruiting calendar has changed so much over the years, Luke, that kids are sort of pressured to commit earlier than ever, and those super early commitments is what leads to later decommitments. So you never know for sure, but I don't think either one of those two guys were likely to end up at Alabama, period. So, I think we can just assume those guys are either sticking with where they're committed, or if they do flip, it's unlikely it would be to Alabama. That doesn't really affect the Tide too much, Luke. It's sitting right now at 15 commitments. In my opinion, this is the best first 15 commitments Alabama has landed in the Saban era, with players like Najee Harris, Tua Tagovailoa, as well as Tyrell Shavers. It's a fantastic early start to this group for sure.
One kid in this class that I'm really beginning to fall in love with, and that's Mac Jones, the quarterback from Bowles School, who was committed to Kentucky. He seems okay with the fact that Alabama's got Tua T coming in from Hawaii. He has no problem with it. He's totally okay with the fact that the roster is stacked with 4- and 5-star kids already, and he just is embracing his newfound stardom as an Alabama commit. He talked about it in an article with SEC Country today about how much different it's been being a Kentucky commit versus an Alabama commit. And one other side note you may not know, he can speak fluent Chinese.
Get out.
Get out. I'm not getting out.
Well, don't get out now. You're hosting a show.
I'm in the middle of an interview. I'm not getting out. But, yeah, he can. He just comes from a multi-talented family. And just an interesting tidbit. I bet you, how many former quarterbacks, current or former quarterbacks at Alabama, do you think could speak Chinese?
I'm just positive that answer is 0. Although McElroy could probably learn it in about a week.
No, I think Kenny Stabler may have sometimes, but I'm not sure it was fluent.
It's frankly a great audible system. So Bateman can come up to the line of scrimmage and holler out some Mandarin out to his wide receivers, and I assure you the corners aren't going to know what they're talking about. So maybe that's maybe it meant. So Mac Jones speaks Chinese.
That's according to the article I read, and nothing's ever wrong on the internet.
You're educating the listeners.
I'm trying my best. I don't know if you're following this AL.com top 100 players from the state of Alabama list, but it's essentially top 100 players that have ever played anywhere in the state of Alabama, whether it be high school or just from the state or played college there, etc. And at the number 100 spot, they unbelievably had David Palmer, which to me invalidates the list. Your thoughts?
Well, when I read something like that and I hear something like that, I'll be completely honest, even though those folks at AL.com do awesome work and those guys are really talented. I love lists like that, but when I look over a list and I see a David Palmer at number 100, I can't read the rest of the list.
That's right.
I can't read it. I'm like, whoa, I'm not reading this. That's insane. I mean, I would tell anyone, and I've been consistent on this going back to the early 90s, in my lifetime of watching Alabama football, even with our 2 Heisman Trophy winners in Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry, I think David Palmer is the most gifted athlete I've ever seen play offense at Alabama. And that includes Derek and Mark and Julio and anyone in the Saban era. Palmer's number one in my lifetime. So, yeah, he's number 100 on that list. That just means I'm not reading the rest of the list.
Jimmy, I'm right there with you. As I told Randy, my co-host tonight earlier, he caught 60 passes in a Gene Stalling offense, which is essentially catching 120 passes in any other offense. But, Jimmy, thanks so much for being with us tonight, bud. We'll have you on again soon. Let's do a podcast sometime.
We'll do one next week. Thanks, Luke.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later. That was Jimmy Stein, my co-host for Talking Tuscaloosa, and also a writer for CrimsonCountryClub.com. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sports Blitz Live.
If you've been putting off that new heating and air unit in your home because of the upfront expenses, Williams Plumbing of Alexander City now has primary financing from Synchrony and can now install brand new heating and cooling systems with zero down, longer terms, and a competitive rate. Call Williams Plumbing at 256-329-8488 and get a free quote and terms and upgrade up to $35,000 in work with approved credit. Williams Plumbing stands behind their work with on-time affordable service for all your heating and air needs, as well as plumbing for zero down financing and great service. Williams Plumbing.
For 115 years, Alliant Bank has built a strong foundation of outstanding customer service. Now, U.S. AmeriBank is building on that foundation with Craft Banking. U.S. AmeriBank's mission is to create handcrafted solutions that perfectly suit your needs and goals. With these financial strengths and convenient banking tools of U.S. AmeriBank, your hometown bank is now even stronger. Alliant is now U.S. AmeriBank, and we're built on values and forging into the future. Visit usameribank.com or any branch for Craft Banking solutions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Bucks Island is one of the oldest boat dealers in Alabama, serving boaters since 1948 with the largest boat showroom in the state. Bass boats featuring Skeeter, cruisers and sport boats featuring Monterey, pontoons featuring Crest, G3 and Voyagers, powered by Mercury and Yamaha. Bucks Island has sold over 10,000 boats and with a full service and parts and accessories department to keep your boat in top condition. Don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote. Visit Bucks Island on Highway 77 in Southside or online at bucksisland.com. Give them a call at 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island, where our number one product is customer satisfaction.
Woo, it's hot outside.
Summer is here and you can save like never before during the Drive and Discover event at Bice Motors. Save over $4,600 on this new well-equipped Jeep Cherokee Sport, now just $20,500.
That's a good-looking Jeep.
Guaranteed lowest price, or we'll pay you the difference in price twice.
BiceChryslerDodge.com.
You won't get savings like these anywhere else.
Russell Do-It Center and Russell Building Supply is locally owned and operated with over 30 years experience providing a wide array of lumber, building materials, hardware, electrical and plumbing supplies, paint, tools, and garden products. Our employees' superior product knowledge and top-notch customer service allows us to help select the best products that will work for you. We provide free product estimates and takeoffs, free local delivery, and ask about our price match promise. Russell Do-It Center and Russell Building Supply. Experience and knowledge from the pros.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. We're going to jump right into another guest. This one from AL.com, Mr. Gary Estwick, who just wrote an incredible article on college recruiting and how it affects the parents and the families of some of these recruits that aren't necessarily getting to go to places like Alabama or Auburn or LSU. Gary, how are you tonight?
I'm pretty good. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Read your article the other day and really fascinating stuff. What stood out to you the most while you were researching this?
Well, one thing I'll tell you, and this is not in the story, but I was talking to a player from one of the schools, and then he told his dad, and his mom told his parents about the story I was going to write. And the first comment one of the parents had to me was, "How much is this going to cost?" And I laughed, not to make fun, but it made me realize just how much some families will pay if they, to try to help that child's dream, even if it's not realistic. So when you hear stories of kids spending thousands of dollars for recruiting expenses, and they're not even juniors and seniors in high school, it makes sense. And this is not. I'm not here to badmouth recruiting services or trainers or kids taking a dozen or more visits in the summer, because everybody does different things, and it's okay to chase a dream. But I think, certain coaches will say, hey, you have to be honest with yourself and have someone around you that can be honest with you. You might want to go to Alabama, but you might be a UAB talent. You might want to play for South Alabama, but the best place might be for Miles College. You can aim high, but don't put all your eggs in a tree that you can't reach. That was kind of, I think, the gist of what I got out of it.
Yeah, one other thing that stood out to me, some of the expenses for going to the camps and driving to the various locations to get seen, and then, of course, making the not heartbreaking, but gut-wrenching decisions about which camps to go to. The expenses can add up to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for a year, which essentially could be the price of a tuition. So really, it could be counterproductive. You might not get that scholarship you want, and you've spent another $5,000, $6,000.
Yeah, the scholarship, and that's actually what made me first think about doing this story, because I had a mom some months ago that was talking about all the different expenses her son went through to try to get in position to get a scholarship, and said, hey, by the time he probably gets one, I probably could have paid for college 3-4 times over. And it was a joke, but it's still set in. It's not all about, for every player, about paying for college. It's for the opportunity. So yeah, you could pay, if you're an Alabama Alabama high school football player, you could just go to the University of Alabama just to be a student. It's not the cheapest, but it's certainly not the most expensive. It's about having the right to be on someone's college football roster. So guys will chase that dream, and when it comes to figuring out which camp you go to, probably the best knowledge I got from that is you want to go to schools that have shown you some level of interest. If you haven't heard much from South Alabama, then that might not be the best place for you to go. Or if you do, make sure you at least add in your camp schedule some schools that have shown you some interest. You've got to find a balance. Just like if we're going for a job, I'm going to apply for a couple of jobs. I know I can get a couple that I have a 50-50 shot at, and a couple that might be a stretch, but I'm projecting that, in the future I'll be ready for it. So again, that whole eggs in the basket thing, I think that's really important. The kid from Montevallo, Zach Oden, his dad Paul really stood out to me. He said, "Hey, when I had to tell my son no before, I'm thinking, man, and as a father, is he going to miss out on a potential scholarship offer because I said no?" And hey, he said, "Hey, I guess I got to work some more overtime shifts." So it really shows you how much parents care. But at the same time, some high school football coaches will say, hey, you have to temper that enthusiasm for financial spending and be smarter with it. There's a lot of things you can do for free, whether it's ACT, SET courses online for free, working out with your team. You don't necessarily have to have a personal trainer, not that it hurts. Camps are great, but go to a mega camp where there's going to be more than 40, like the one that was at Stanford. There's more than 40 colleges there. So you can be a little thrifty when it comes to colleges. I don't even think you have to have a recruiting service You can get a Twitter profile. They're free. You can put a video together on YouTube. So there's things ways you can navigate recruiting and spend less money. I think families are going to have to be smarter about that in the future, because you can't spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and your child is not even a junior yet in school. Those costs really can add up for families.
Well, and there's a part in the story where one family spent over $1,000 for some recruiting service that they really got nothing out of. It's hard to know who's reputable, who's not, and just like you said at the beginning of this interview with the family that said, well, how much is this going to cost? And they had no idea that this was going to be something free that you were doing, and it wasn't even necessarily about them. They're just so used to being gigged that they didn't know any better. Another quote in here that struck me, this is from one of the questionnaires you had in the article. If you leave your recruiting success up to Friday nights, I think you do yourself a disservice. That's struck me because what concerns me as a high school football fan is kids are going to put less and less emphasis on the results on the field for game night and more emphasis on how they perform in camp.
You're absolutely right. Put it this way: what's the big thing that separates high school basketball from high school football? It's that you still have to play the game of high school football to get a college look. Where in basketball, hey, there are not many examples of this, but you could not play for your high school team as long as you play for an AAU team and still have a really good shot of getting a scholarship. Players are now banking on potential. You have guys that right now are in the class of 2020 talking about how I want to get, I'm working on getting a scholarship. In the class of 2019, I think it's because social media makes it look so easy. How many times have we all logged into Twitter, for example, and somebody's blessed to receive another offer? It just seems like it's everywhere. And we know those offers aren't binding. We know that. But think about it. If you're a family that it's the first generation of having someone who is worthy of recruiting, it just seems so easy to get a scholarship. But it's really not. I think those are a couple things I love to see change, although it's not going to happen overnight. If offers were binding, the moment I got an offer from a school, I can sign then all the way through signing day. Or if you move up those official visits you get as a high school senior, why not have those your junior year? Because all these guys are spending so much money on unofficials and for summer camps because they can't wait until their senior year to make their first contact person to person. We wouldn't do that if we were doing a job interview. You want to meet your potential boss. You want to meet your potential coworkers before you sign on the dotted line. So I love to see the NCAA talk a little bit more about moving up those unofficial visits. If you're going to offer kids that are in 9th grade, 10th grade, they can't wait 2-3 years. For the school to pay for it themselves, or don't offer them so young. That's the other solution.
You interviewed so many great and fascinating kids in this story, and one of them, Joshua Jones from Carver, Birmingham. He talks about he caught 8 touchdowns last year, which is very nice. It's very good. He's going to go to a lot of camps and try to impress. But he's 5'4", 124 pounds. At least that's what he's listed in the article. Yeah. And I thought to myself, at 124 pounds, I would say probably every punter in college football is bigger than he is, right? I mean, it seems like he's facing an uphill battle.
Absolutely. And I know from personal experience. Look, I was a 4th-string receiver in a 3-receiver rotation, so I played the bench more than anything. But I'm not going to fault a guy for chasing his dream. And just to be clear, his football coach, Rod Carson, said he is the best offensive talent at Carver, Birmingham, which is certainly not a football powerhouse, but they're definitely improving. The problem is this. You can't wait with college football recruiting the way it is right now. You really can't wait until your senior year to have a breakout year to get a scholarship. You really need to have that breakout year as a sophomore because college football coaches are looking at how fast is your 40, what's your height and weight, how can you, they're looking at numbers more than anything. I had a coach tell me just today when I went to the 7-on-7 at Parker, heart is not in the equation right now. Heart is not in the equation. So you definitely got to have those numbers, and you can't wait. You can't be a late bloomer like a few of us were. I know I was a late bloomer. You really got to make your mark as a sophomore so you can get attention early, because late bloomers, you're not. It's really hard to get an offer. Big schools, you guys talk about it all the time. Alabama, Auburn, SEC, outside the SEC, they're already they're working on classes 2017, 2018, 2019 right now already.
That's absolutely correct.
It's the smaller schools that are working on kind of year by year. So if you want to have a shot, especially at a bigger school, you've got to produce earlier in high school. And again, so that's why we see these families spending money, because they see where the trend is going, so they're trying to keep up with it.
You know, it's funny that I've been talking about this and who's not this size, so they can't go to this school, when just this past season, Josh Jacobs, a kid out of Oklahoma, burst onto the scene very, very late. Alabama ends up offering. He signs with the Crimson Tide. AL.com has done a pretty good story on him in the past. And then AL.com puts out their top 100 players from the state of Alabama. David Palmer is number 100, and he's really, he should be in the top 5 if you ask me. But he was certainly undersized, but just an incredible talent, maybe a once-in-a-lifetime guy.
Absolutely, but see, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about, it's almost like baseball. You're talking about potential. We're grading potential, not what you've done. And it's not an exact science. We're all human beings. There's no way you would put a kid that's 5'4", 124 pounds, and those are actual numbers, on your college football team. If you had a chance of getting a guy that plays that same position that's, let's say, 6'4" and 205 pounds. There's no way you're always going. If you have a quarterback that's 6'4", you're always going to want a quarterback that's 6'5". If you have a defensive back who runs a 4.42, you're going to want one who runs a 4.41. It's a race for numbers, and that's never going to change. The only thing that does change it, if the team can't get that guy who runs a 4.41 instead of a 4.42, then they'll go back to the 4.42 guy. That's the only difference, and I hear players complain about that all the time. But that's just the way it is, because the same way players get to choose the colleges get to choose the players. So it's a wacky system. It certainly has changed over the years. I'm just waiting for the day where some kid in elementary school who just rides who's playing flag football, gets a really early call from Nick Saban.
Well, Gary, thanks again for being on with us tonight. Great article, and hopefully a lot of folks go out there and read it. It's a lot of fun information.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
There is Gary Estwick from AL.com. We appreciate his being with us. We're going to go to break. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sportz Blitz Live.
Foshi Boat Dock, located on Highway 280 in Dadeville, Alabama, can handle your boat from bow to stern. Let's start with safety. Life jackets, kill switches, and other safety equipment, trailer tires to spark plugs, accessories galore, new and used motors, jet skis, pontoons, runabout boats. Brett Foshi has 20-plus years in keeping us afloat. Come on by today at Foshi Boat Dock in Dadeville, 256-825-5525.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all you can eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all you can eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
At Bone and Joint Specialists, there is no better feeling than to know that we have helped make someone's life better. Orthopedic surgeons Dr. Paul Goldhagen and Dr. Martha George treat all injuries and conditions related to your bones, joints, and muscles for both adults and pediatric patients while specializing in arthritis and sports medicine. 256-329-9133 or visit us online at bonesandjoints.com. Alexander City, Wetumpka, Sylacauga, and Dadeville. Bone and Joint Specialists, getting you back into the game of life.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. Here at my office, we want to be different than the big city billboard lawyers. We want to give your case the personal attention that it deserves. We handle auto accidents, tractor-trailer accidents, and other cases where our clients have been injured and need personal legal attention. To me and my staff, you will not just be another number on the case file, and we will return your phone calls. So if you've been injured, give me a call today or visit us on our website.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alex City. Satterfield is the Lake Martin area's Big Green Egg and Accessories headquarters.
Luke, Satterfield's our segment sponsor here. Let's take this opportunity to talk about them on Highway 280 here in Alexander City.
Go check them out. Look, it's grilling season. Some points here in Alabama, you hadn't even needed a grill. You can just put it right there on the pavement. It's been so hot. But it's much safer and tastes a lot better on a Big Green Egg. Go check them out at Satterfield. They've got all your lawn equipment that you could possibly need. Get one of those Skags to mow your lawn. If it keeps doing like it did yesterday, rains just a little bit, then the weather's pretty nice and rains a little bit more, your grass is going to grow pretty quick. You need a Skag to go out there and cut
Let's hope so. We need some rain. The lake is showing some of the downfall of that's not a good word to use there, but the lack of rain that we've seen in these parts, so we definitely need a little bit. So we've got our Players of the Week coming up now. We got a couple of more segments here on the program tonight. We've got a lot of great interviews coming your way moving forward as well, and want to highlight some other things that we've got going on with our Sports Blitz programming. But our Players of the Week, and I'll start with the AHSA Radio Network Player of the Week, brought to you by Russell Building Supply and Russell Do-It Center. I want to thank them for being our corporate partner on the AHSA Radio Network. Tanner Allen from UMS Wright Prep School, named to the 40-man roster for the USA 18 and under national team trials, was voted the Class 4A Player of the Year after leading UMS Wright to the state title earlier this spring. The rising senior shortstop hit .450 with 5 home runs, 10 triples, 38 RBIs, and 27 stolen bases. Congratulations to Tanner Allen.
The Alabama National Guard Lake Martin Area Player of the Week is Cal Jones from Dadeville High School. He's named the OA News Hitter of the Year. The former Alabama commit, now a member of the Kansas City Royals organization, was the Class 4A Hitter of the Year. He hit .516 with a .593 on-base percentage, had 10 home runs, 41 RBIs, 55 runs, and 12 steals.
Unbelievable year for Cal Jones. Congratulations to him. The Lyman Ward Military Academy, founded in 1898. The AISA Player of the Week is Noah West from Springwood School. Named the OA News All-Area Team. West was solid on both sides of the ball this year for the Wildcats. He had a .345 batting average and a .455 on-base percentage. Great on the mound also. Had a 49-19 strikeout to walk ratio. So congratulations to Noah West from Springwood School.
The Kenneth Ingram Jr. personal injury attorney, Montgomery Area, the Player of the Week, is Carrie Budney from Montgomery Academy, named the Montgomery Advertiser All-Metro Player of the Year. She scored 27 goals and dished 17 assists to lead the team. She was also named First Team All-State. The team captain has been on varsity since the 7th grade, ending her career with 4 state championships.
Lee County Player of the Week, brought to you each and every week by the Alabama National Guard, nationalguard.com/AL Mitch Myers from Opelika High School. Named the OA News Pitcher of the Year. The Alabama commit led the Bulldogs on the mound with a 1.16 ERA and a 0.68 WHIP in 66 2/3 innings. He threw 5 shutouts and had a 96-14 strikeout to walk ratio. Opponents only had a 124 batting average against him. I saw Mitch able to go over there in the second round of the playoffs as he pitched against Benjamin Russell High School. He gets it up there pretty good, Luke. Alabama's getting a really good one here in Mitch Myers from Opelika High School.
The Alabama National Guard East Alabama Player of the Week is Tyler Cadenhead from Glenwood School, named the Auburn Opelika News Player of the Year, a big part of the Gators lineup. He hit a 485 clip with 10 home runs, 20 doubles, and 58 RBIs. He drew 35 walks and struck out just 4 times in 134 at-bats. On the mound, he had a 7-1 record, a 1 ERA, and a .84 WHIP in 56 innings.
If you can't notice already, pick up the OA News, as they have a lot of their Players of the Year coming out, and we appreciate all that they do in these parts. I'll close things out with the Shelby County Player of the Week, brought to you by Central State Bank, and what a great week it was for Austin Wiley from Spain Park High School. Delivered a double-double of 12 points and 11 rebounds in the 2016 FIBA U17 World Championships in Spain. Austin Wiley, Alabama's got a couple of great commits as well. Read an article this week, Luke, as we close out this segment, that it's been a long drought for both Auburn and Alabama with having players drafted in the NBA draft. If they keep recruiting the way that we are currently right now, it won't be that long until we see the next one, will it?
No, I totally agree. There's a kid named Colin Sexton, I believe, playing on that same team. He plays guard from Georgia. And Avery Johnson's really all over him, trying to get him to Alabama and commit. And if he signs, and then Alabama can get John Petty, and it feels like Alabama's moving up the list for Petty.
That's huge.
And I feel like, I've been watching this HSA tournament for a while. John Petty's one of the best players I've ever seen in this thing. Austin Wiley certainly up there too, but Petty's just been, he's just a wonderkind. I mean, he's just unbelievable. But I wanted to talk to, I know we've got just a few minutes here. Let's throw a few quick hitters out there. First of all, Auburn, Penn State, opening up a home-and-home series. What do you think?
I love it. I love the back and forth. I don't mind the neutral site games, but Luke, you say it as well as anyone. You like going and seeing their atmosphere and them coming and getting an opportunity to see ours. So I think it's a really good fit there for Auburn and Penn State. We haven't been, have we ever played?
Auburn and Penn State. Auburn's never played a Big Ten opponent in the regular season ever.
Wow.
They've only played them in bowl games.
That's great.
And, you know, I think it's a great matchup because I know Auburn has had a time, they've tried to schedule Notre Dame in the past, and Notre Dame has generally turned them down because Notre Dame's kind of, let's face it, they're kind of uppity.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they probably look at it like if we're going to play somebody from the SEC, it's going to be Alabama, or it's going to, they've played LSU in the past, but they have a Catholic connection. So I give Auburn credit for trying to do it, and I sort of have a disdain for Notre Dame because they do feel like, you know, they play some of these other schools and they won't play Auburn. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But I think this is a really good matchup. Penn State needs to make more games like this happen.
Yeah.
They need to get in the South more. And if Penn State and Alabama, which used to have a great rivalry, had just rekindled, I don't think that would have the same flair. They just played a home-and-home. Alabama dominated both times. But I went to the last game at Penn State, and I absolutely loved it. It was a lot of fun. There's a good time to get Alabama back on your schedule, and that time is about 4 or 5 years from now when Nick Saban decides that's enough for me. Right now, I'd just wait my turn. I'm sorry. I also applaud Auburn because, number one, it's not Clemson.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of Auburn. Clemson don't know what to do, and I'm sure you are too. But it's also not Cal. I mean, Auburn's got Cal on the schedule, and they pushed that thing back, and that's not bad. I mean, going to Berkeley would be fun, but it would be better if it were UCLA or Oregon. Cal seems like a notch below Auburn to me, and I feel like Penn State-Auburn, that feels right. I think Penn State should be 100% by then. I mean, they probably still feeling the effects of what they went through. I feel like Penn State should be 100%. They had a question on Sports Call. Andy and Brett were hosting, and Andy asked, well, what do you think the odds are Gus Malzahn to be coach? What do you think the odds are Gus Malzahn to be coach then?
I mean, I've said it, and I'll say it here. I'm really hoping Malzahn gets this thing turned around. I don't want a coaching change. Auburn are like Alabama fans. We will, and you say it all the time, y'all won't sit around and wait.
Yeah.
Y'all go ahead and make a decision. And right now, I think he's got more to give. And I think that if he gets back to what got him to where he was in 13 and 10 and some other years, then we'll see. Can we put up with a 5-win season, a 6-win season? No, but can I put up with a 7 or 8-win season and we go back to tempo football and I can see progress or some light at the end of the tunnel? I'm all for
what
sticking
percentage
with
do
it.
you think that he'll get to see that game in
75%.
Wow. Okay, because Brett said 50%, and I thought that was high.
Well, that's where Brett stands with it.
I know. I thought it was high. I swear.
I think Auburn fans, for the most part, want to see him succeed. And there's no part of me that doesn't think he can't get this thing. Now, is he going to win 10 or 11 games this year? No, I don't believe that. Can he potentially do it next year after he's righted the ship? I hope so. That's what I'm betting on.
Well, and again, just doing quick hitters here. Another topic about Auburn, Prince Tega, the kid that played at Edgewood Academy. We loved him. He was huge, and then he reclassifies so he can actually sign a year earlier, and he's already been moved from defense to offense, which shocked me because this goes back to what we were talking about recruiting. You know, this kid is 5'4", 124. We say he's got no shot. You look at Prince Tega, and he's 6'6", 6'7", 250, and you think, I just want him, and everybody in the world will sign him. And he seems to not be able to find his place, whereas some of the smaller guys may know exactly what they are. It's just, that's how recruiting is such a crapshoot.
It's the reason that Alex Kozans and Bart Jones and many of these others find their way to being great players, and others that just look it off the hoof like Lester Cotton. And you expect Lester to be out there game one, when I remember seeing him at an all-star event going, my gosh, that is – if God pointed down at an 18-year-old and said, I want an offensive guard, that's what he would point to. May end up being an All-American.
Yeah, I mean, he may start this year, but B.J. Scott is a guy that – D. Hart, I mean, those are guys that – some of the guys that were really kind of beefed out, and you think they're going to be superstars, and they just can't find their place.
I know. I agree with it. Let's stay and close out this segment. Michael, instead of taking a break here, we'll go ahead and run down what you'll have going on that way, because I know we've gone a little bit over. Sportz Blitz Classics. That's something that we're working on hard in this area, but we want to extend it statewide. We know that we're going to have access to more games and footage and photos. It's really sad. Let me say this, as I'm a few weeks into this, it is very, very sad to go out there and see what's on the digital world that you can gain access to as far as high school footage, high school storylines that have gone on in this state. We've had such tremendous athletics go on, and very little of it has been put on a digital format. Go try to find it. Google as much of it as you can and see what you can find. It's next to impossible, and it's sad, and that's something that we would like to work on. If you've got access to video, you got access to segments, you got access to photos, old articles, please contact us at Sportz Blitz. We're going to make sure that it gets on a digital format, that it's there. If you want to go back and you want to watch old Terrell Owens game in high school, you got an opportunity to do that. Right now, there's no chance whatsoever. If you want to go back.
And what's the cost, Randy?
The cost is zero.
That's amazing. I'm trying my best infomercial tryout.
So just get it to us, and we're going to throw the manpower at it, and you'll see it here tonight, our first one that will be coming out full game tomorrow. We got about a 10-minute highlight pulled down. It's 2001 Benjamin Russell High School state championship game against Homewood. Homewood had defeated Benjamin Russell the year before in a 5-overtime game, which we have, by the way, Homewood fans out there. It will be being pushed out, but we're Benjamin Russell guys. We're sorry. We're pushing out our championship before we push yours out there. But 2001 game, the highlight will be coming up here in the next little bit. So, again, it's something already that we have seen go way beyond our expectations in the early going on social media on how many shares and stuff that are going on there.
Yeah, and it's funny because so many of you don't get to see a lot of highlights. For instance, one thing that pops out in my head right now, I hope that we can get in touch with whomever was handling Jackson Olin back when David Palmer was high school.
Yes,
I remember watching his highlight film, and I can't find it anywhere now. It was unbelievable. You thought his highlight film at Alabama was great. Imagine him in high school. And how great would that be just to be able to pull that up and go, my goodness gracious. I mean, some of the things he did in high school were unbelievable. But you could do the same thing for Cadillac Williams. You could do the same thing for a countless number of guys that played through here that we may not have their highlights in a video format, or nobody may have them. and we're willing to do it.
Well, we want to get a hold of it, and let me tell you, if you got old VHS tapes, if you've got 20 of them, 15 of them are useless.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad how they disintegrate to nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's legible or audible or anything that's left on them. So get them over to us, and we'll try to get those on a digital format. They'll be back in your hands for you to have for generations to come if it's something that is very important to you. We've got several interviews coming up here tonight. Brett was able to catch up with Sonny Wilson and Alexander Smith over at the Sportplex. We had 20 teams into Alexander City for the 12U state baseball tournament this week, and a great atmosphere over there. I've had a lot of incomers from out of the area to come into the Lake Martin area, and so we wanted to catch up. And then we'll have Brian Matthews to close things out. So, Luke, it's been a great night tonight. We've got a lot of things in the works. Football's right around the corner, and we won't have any time for it.
In no time.
And you got a baby coming.
I got, no, just that. So no big whoop. Just I got 3.5 kids right now. That's the way I look at it.
We're on our way to heading on out of here, and make sure to stay tuned in. We'll be with you until 9 o'clock. For Luke Robinson, Michael Foreham back there, I'm Randy Lee saying thanks for tuning in to Sports Blitz Live.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
For 115 years, Alliant Bank has built a strong foundation of outstanding customer service. Now, U.S. AmeriBank is building on that foundation with Craft Banking. U.S. AmeriBank's mission is to create handcrafted solutions that perfectly suit your needs and goals. With these financial strengths and convenient banking tools of U.S. AmeriBank, your hometown bank is now even stronger. Alliant is now U.S. AmeriBank, and we're built on values and forging into the future. Visit usameribank.com or any branch for Craft Banking solutions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Over the years, S&S Tire's grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Alex City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
For over 60 years, people in East Central Alabama have relied on the team at Jackson Refrigeration for the highest standards in heating and air installation and service. Now they've expanded into A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, a division of Jackson Refrigeration, and you can still count on their reputation to make your comfort their priority with quality Goodman products with the best warranty in the industry. Whether it's new construction or a complete unit change, Jackson Refrigeration and A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, the go-to team for over 60 years, where your comfort is our priority.
And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah.
You can count on the caring team at Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation. Our services include physical, speech, and occupational therapy. Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation, 256-329-9061.
Hello, I'm State Farm Agent Karen Chanel. I specialize in helping families and individuals like yourself in the Alexander City and Lake Martin communities. With over 20 years experience with State Farm and a dynamic team of licensed professionals, I am committed to helping you manage the risk of everyday life. And we not only consider it an honor, but a privilege to assist you in meeting your insurance and financial services needs. I sincerely look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at alexcitymarine.com.
He has racked up 1,000 yards. And you can add 95 to it because if my math's correct, it is going to be close to 95. He shakes off 1, 2, 3 defenders, and then, of course, this is just pure speed, Chris. This young man pulls away separation, and watch the quarterback. Braggnott turns around, and he makes a good block.
And as we take a look at the offensive lineup for Benjamin Russell, that offensive front with Richardson and Meade at the tackles, Caldwell and Ross at the guards, and Parks Geddes is the center. Britt Dye, the do-everything player, the kicker, return man, and split end, leading the backs in. And they've got 1st and 10 from their own 44-yard line. Harrelson on the slant. He's got Dye in Homewood territory, able to stay on his feet to the 35-yard line. And certainly football championship games played here prior to this 5A contest. Keeping it himself, Harrelson, he is brought down at the 16-yard line. Perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle by Nick Newell, because as you could tell, Harrelson to the air, looking, fade pattern, and that one is caught. Touchdown, Benjamin Russell. Eric Brock on the receiving end of the touchdown pass from Clay Harrelson. That is the 22nd touchdown throw of the year for Harrelson, and the Wildcats are within 1.
Got it just over the arms of Jared Simpson.
Guy, perfect on the extra point attempt. Stop me if you've heard this before. Homewood and Benjamin Russell are tied. 6:45 to go in the first quarter. As expected, a great one between the Patriots and the Wildcats. It's there to greet him. Here's the defensive front for the Wildcats. Corey Harris was among those leading the charge on that last play. The linebacking core, very, very good. And the secondary with Brock, Toller, and Benson will 92 yards for a score. This time the last guard gets to run it himself. He's got room across the 20. He had to hold up just a bit, and that kept him from moving even further down the field. If you count Thornton, he'll stay in as a blocking back. No, he'll set up the screen, but read absolutely perfectly. Roderick Daniel, the sophomore linebacker, read that one perfectly and was able, with under a minute to go in the first quarter. Harrelson keeping it, looking, he's got room. 15, 10, 5, and down to the 2-yard line. Tremaine Marbury saved the touchdown, but Harrelson puts the Wildcats inside the 5, 1st and goal from the 2. Benjamin Russell trying to change that score. Harrelson keeping it himself, and we've got a flag on the play. Likely an illegal procedure, Herb, that'll back it up 5 yards.
Yeah, usually when it comes from the side judge, that is going to be the call, as he's discussing it there with the head referee. And
it is the false start. It's behind Harrelson, and he stumbles going back. Didn't have the bad exchange that time, but he tripped. Still got 4 wideouts in formation, but Harrelson tried the quarterback draw, and it was snuffed out. Harley Sanders driving him back to the 16-yard line, or will they spot it? 11 of 16 on the year. This one will be just beyond the 20, so a 30-yard try from the hold of Travis Harry. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And Benjamin Russell has taken a 10-7 lead over the Patriots of Homewood High School. Flanks Gargis in the shotgun look. Thornton not able to get much room. He got leveled on the play. A big hit by Shundell Rousseau, senior linebacker, 6 feet, 175. Tight end set. They'll give it to Thornton again, and he is wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Ty Martin carried the football a couple of times tonight for Benjamin Russell. This time, his assignment was to seek out the ball carrier for the other team, and he does a great job. He was under Phil Lazenby and took over the head coaching job this year. Interception, flag on the play as getting to the 30-yard line. Antoine Dunn, a passing situation perhaps, but as well as this team runs it, you never know. They will look to the air, but not will have to tuck it and run. I believe they were trying to connect with Daniel Turtelot, who started on the right side.
He's got a big leg, too, I'll tell you, for a little guy.
Snap was high, and that one is very low and was almost blocked. That one never had a chance. The snap was high, and then you had a Homewood pay. I wrote it down. Gerhard Mathengani came moving across to try to get a block, but instead almost got in the way. Homewood's trying to get somebody in the way of that man, Clay Harrelson. No matter how many times you practice that in the pregame, Garrett have only covered 9 yards for Homewood, so they need to get things going. How about giving it to number 48? It worked pretty well last time. It works again. Across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Brandon Thornton rumbling for 29 yards. He must have heard us, Herb. Get it here for you, don't you?
I'm having fun with it.
Thornton again. Check that. It was not that kept it himself, and he is brought down back to the 40-yard line. The fake fooled me, but it did not. The senior quarterback with time, looking across the middle. He's got a man. It's complete at the 45-yard line. Daniel Turtelot, his 30th reception of the year, over 360.
In that first game here, it's wide open, but they'll close it down here to pick up the first down.
Power eye set. They're going to go to the air. The pass is complete. Turtelot inside the 26-yard line. It will be a first down. Talk about rolling the dice. You need 2 inches to go. Drive already. Primarily doing the job through the air. Not 6 of 8 on this drive alone. Thornton with room at the 3-yard line. He will be brought down. That's a first down, and they will stop the clock to move the chains with 35 seconds to go. Thornton 133 yards on 7 carries. Shotgun. Knott will keep it himself, but he won't go anywhere. Great play made by Rod Daniel, the sophomore line. In formation. Knott looking to throw. He's got a man. And a loose football. Will they say it's down? Yes, they will. Houston will try it out from 20. This kick looks much better. It's true, and Herb Winches was right. We will be tied at 10. We are tied at 10. It's halftime. 0 in the season. More than 10. Looking for it all. Dye is out there, but it's picked off. The interception by Nick Newell, the junior defender. Also a great block downfield for the Patriots on that play. 4th and about a foot. Working from the gun again. Quarterback keep. He will get the first down and more. You don't see that very often. Snap it to the quarterback out of the shotgun and then get a running start and pick up the made 1 already. He's 1 of 2. This kick is up. This kick is perfect. And Homewood has gone on top. 13-10. The Patriots back in the lead in the 5A state championship game from Legion Field. On 2nd and 12. Gargis will be brought down. Another sack by the Benjamin Russell defense. Ty Martin was there, along with Scott Fuller, a 12-yard loss on the play.
Boy, this young man is something. Taking old Homewood, and it's a quick kick.
It is a quick kick, and it's an awful kick. That one takes a Benjamin Russell bounce. It will be down at the 16-yard line. Gargis rushed the kick. It's only traveled 7 yards. A couple of miscues, has been very, very good in this football game. He'll keep it himself. He'll get to the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Wildcats.
And Benjamin Russell did exactly what you're supposed to do. A mistake by Homewood as they were going for the 3rd down quick kick. It was off the side of the foot for Gargis. They got great field position, and just a couple of plays later, they made Homewood pay for it. And now suddenly they've got a chance to take the lead here in Duke, coming up on 17-13.
Dye on to try the extra point. An important extra point. And a perfect extra point try.
They lead it by 4.
In the rotation, it's Bragg Knott's turn to take over at quarterback. Thornton barely able to get to the line of scrimmage. Ty Martin again, the first man to greet him. In the books, we have 12 minutes left, perhaps more, to determine the Class 5A state champion. The Wildcats lead the Patriots in Birmingham. 18 carries, on the night, 115 yards. And this time Harrelson wants to throw, and he does. It's complete inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. You asked where number 17, Jeremy Toller, has been. There he is on the receiving. See if Harrelson calls his own number again, as he has on the last two plays. He will, and he'll move the piles, and he'll move the chains. It's another Benjamin Russell first down. And now the Homewood side, not only he made one from 31 earlier tonight, he's 12 of 17 on the year is Dye. The kick is up, the kick is perfect. A flag came in late. That will likely be a late hit. Is on top by time. Scrambling, but runs out of time as he is brought down back at the 7. Maurice Harrell, the man who will get credit for the sack. And Homewood will have to punt with 2:35 and ticking to go in this football game and only 2 timeouts left.
Well, Frank Knott is scrambling for all his. Your first ever state championship, and revenge will be sweet. Revenge will be ours. Just don't make a mistake here.
How sweet would this win be? An incredible year, an incredible 2 seasons, 25 consecutive wins coming into tonight. And as Harrelson keeps it himself to the 30-yard line, they may have to run, they will have to run at least one more play as Homewood will now use its final timeout. And they are getting the beverage bucket ready. But I imagine Carl Martin would be pretty ticked off if he got doused right now with 47 seconds still to go in this game, still only separated by 7 points. Given to Clay Harrelson, and understandably so, was 24 carries for 137 yards, surpassing Brandon Thornton's mark of 132 that he had in the first half. What a fumble! A loose football, and Homewood could not get it. It came squirting free, but the man who scored the first touchdown of the game for Benjamin Russell, Eric Brock, wraps it up. Carl Martin's heart may not start beating again.
Wow, can you believe this? Can you believe this? Ty Martin, who has been the really sure hand.
He minds one bit. Soggy, but very happy is Carl Martin.
All these folks have made the trip up from Alex City, and I mean that community emptied out because they did want this revenge. As they said, they wanted to take care of unfinished business, and they have done it.
Purchasing a new home is easier than you think, and America's Home Place can show you the way. For over 41 years, we've built thousands of homes for people just like you. We guide you through the entire process from purchasing a lot, finding financial options, to putting the finishing touches on your beautiful new house. Come tour our showroom and see over 100 customizable floor plans. Visit us online at americashomeplace.com/TV for a free floor plan book. America's Home Place. We make building easy.
CTE Small Engines next to Tigertown and Opelika is East Alabama's full lawn and land equipment supercenter. CTE Small Engines offers full mower lines from Husqvarna to Toro, whether it's the Toro Zero Turn MX5000 or the great line of tough Husqvarna push mowers. CTE has the region's best prices and selection. CTE offers a full line of Echo to make taming your lawn a breeze. And best of all, CTE has a full service department for warranty work. CTE Small Engine in Opelika, your line's ultimate sales and service center.
Define the fabric of a team. It's not selfish. It's not boastful. It's about many, sewn together to reach one common goal. But in order to win, you must learn to work together.
Woo, it's hot outside.
Summer is here, and you can save like never before during the Drive and Discover event at Bice Motors. Save over $4,600 on this new, well-equipped Jeep Cherokee Sport, now just $20,500.
That's a good-looking Jeep.
Guaranteed lowest price, or we'll pay you the difference in price twice.
BiceChryslerDodge.com.
You won't get savings like these anywhere else.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Russell Do-It Center, offering a complete assortment of lumber, building materials, electrical, and plumbing supplies. Russell Do-It Center stores deliver first-class service, top-rate products, and competitive do-it-best pricing.
Hey everybody, we're up here at the Alexander City Charles E. Bailey Sportsplex during the Cal Ripken 12U baseball tournament. I'm Brett Pritchard. This is Sonny Wilson, Alex City Parks and Rec Director. Sonny, first of all, thanks for taking some time out up here. The tournament in its final stages here today. It's been a wonderful, wonderful week here in Alexander City. Mother Nature's held off. Good Lord's given us good weather. It's been hot now, but she's given us good weather. But, Sonny, glad to have you up here.
Oh, thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming out. It's been a great weekend of baseball. You know, to have about 20 teams here playing this weekend, it's great for the whole community.
It is great for the whole community, and we'll talk about this a little bit later about how do you get an opportunity to host a state tournament or even a district tournament and how all that kind of works. But it really all starts back in really January. You know, as we turn over the new year, everybody starts thinking about baseball and softball. And the one thing that I've noticed, and I've talked to Alexander, and we'll have him on here in a little bit, is how the league has increased over the past several years, and more kids have come out. But I want to first talk about what all goes into making this complex the beautiful complex it is, Sonny, because so many people up here this week have stopped us and said, you guys have such a unique, beautiful complex. That we've been to pretty complexes, but they said this one here is one of the top they've ever been to.
Well, it does. You know, it starts every year, of course, with our budget, so the mayor and the council has something to do with it. And then we have good guys, Matthew Keel, Nick Hand, that they spend just about 12 months a year working on these fields. And you know, a lot of people think it's just cutting grass and things like that, but it's not. To have a real nice facility, and they take pride in what they do out here. And you know, Mike Goodwin and his staff, just all the grounds, the whole thing they do. And you know, our goal is to have one of the nicest parks in the state, which we have one of the oldest. We're going on 30 years now. So you know, to keep things up, you got to spend a lot of time here, and our guys do a great job with that.
Well, it doesn't look like a 30-year-old complex for sure. I mean, you and I have been around the state traveling to different state tournaments and not naming any names, but you realize when you go somewhere how fortunate you really are.
You do. I say it a lot. We're spoiled here in Elliott City because we've grown up with this. We didn't have to start when we was over behind the middle school. You remember how that looks, but we've been here so long now that we've kind of got spoiled. And you don't realize until you go to other facilities how blessed we are to have what we have.
And another thing, we talk about all the time, Sonny, and you and I have had this conversation several times. There are 20 communities represented at this tournament this week. There are a lot of people that may have never been to Alexander City before. They had no impression whatsoever. They didn't know what to expect. They'd heard things, maybe done a little research, but this was the first thing that they've had an opportunity to see. And you shape and formulate your mind and your perception of a community based on what you see and your experiences. And you and I were just having a conversation off camera about several communities we've been to that unfortunately weren't so nice, and the things weren't as nice as we had here. We're glad that people are going to leave here from all over the state talking about how great Alexander City is.
We do. We have teams. We go from Mobile all the way up to Huntsville, and we cover everywhere in between that's here this weekend for this tournament. So for people to come in, I tell our staff all the time, it's that first impression. When they walk up, when they leave, what do they leave with in their mind? And it's always, we had a nice facility and we run the tournament right. And when you're always walking around helping people, and you do that, they always want to come back. And we have people, every year tell us, why don't y'all just host our age group every year? We'll be happy to come back. So they enjoy it. We try to tie the lake into it and take them around and show them, and we give them flyers and stuff of all the restaurants in town so they don't think just what we have is what's on 280. We try to tell them, go downtown, see what we got. I think we have one of the nicest downtowns for a small city in the state, in my opinion. So we try to get them to go down and really see what Elliott City's all about.
Yeah, Sonny, I couldn't agree more. And Field 1 is where our high school plays, so a lot of people seeing where Benjamin Russell plays and what a nice park that is, a nice field. But a lot of time and a lot of effort put in by your staff and by everybody that's involved. I know you're proud of that. One of the things that, as I mentioned earlier, that we've seen is the excitement in this community, and it has always been in this community about baseball and softball. I believe about 600 kids this year, which is probably close to a record.
Yes, we had about 600 kids this year. Our league grows a little every year, and I think the biggest thing is you got to make it fun. If you make things fun nowadays, it's hard to get them out from behind the computers and all that. So they got to do something where it's fun. So, we had some great coaches this year that really they're in it for the right reason, and that's to see kids develop, not just as athletes, but as human beings. And I think as long as we keep that in the forefront, then our league will continue to grow.
Well, Sonny, I can't say enough about how much we all appreciate what you and this whole staff does. I've seen Matthew several times up here this week as our boys were playing in this tournament, and just so much work. They get here early in the morning, way before anybody else even thinks about coming up to the park, and they stay way after everybody leaves to make sure everything's tidied up and all. So, Sonny, we appreciate what you do as far as representing this city and making sure this complex is in tip-top shape, when people can come in from these other communities and say, hey, Alexander City's a place I might want to move to one day.
Well, that's our goal, and we hope one day somebody comes by and says, hey, I'm moving my business here because we had such a great experience when we was at a tournament.
Sonny, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking some time.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Appreciate everything y'all do.
Thank you. Cal Ripken 12U baseball tournament up here in Alexander City this past week. I'm now here with Alexander Smith, tournament director here for the 12U Cal Ripken Baseball State Tournament. And Alexander, first of all, it's coming to an end. The two semifinal games going on right now behind us, but this park has been packed since basically Friday. Everybody coming into town, and then Saturday everything got kicked off. It's been an outstanding tournament.
It really has. Great turnout. All the hotels full within 25, 30 miles of us. I know our city and the surrounding cities are very thankful for us hosting it. A lot of revenues come in for all of us, all the above. And as far as the parents and the kids so far, from what I can tell, they've enjoyed it, had a great time. And especially our kids, here in Elliott City, our players played very well all the way through. Went 3-0 in the pool play, which is not normal, for most teams. That's a big accomplishment. but our coaches, Brian and Braxton, did a great job with them. But we're very proud of Elk City and their baseball team, and we're proud of Sonny over Parks and Rec for helping us with getting everything ready as far as the facilities, the fields. But it takes everybody involved to make it happen.
Well, proud of you and Candy and everybody that you've had as far as your staff helping you guys. We've had so many compliments from all these communities around that have come up and said, look, we've never experienced an opening ceremony like we experienced at the pool the other night with the fireworks and giving the opportunity for the kids to swim. And we've never experienced a park like this. And, it starts there. If you don't have a park like this, you can't even be eligible to host a state tournament. So it starts with facilities. We're blessed in Elk City to have beautiful facilities. I want to go back and echo what you said. I was very proud of our kids. Both your son, my son, both played on that team along with their buddies, and it kind of culminated for them. That's the end of their youth league, and so it was kind of bittersweet. But they played so well. They went 4-1. They represented this community with class and dignity, and that's what we always coach in our little league. You and I coach in little league, and that's the first thing we put above everything else, winning or anything, is you're going to play with class, you're going to win with class, you're going to lose with class, and you're just going to handle yourself the right way. So I'm proud of how our kids played, and they left it all on the field.
They did, and once again, we hate to see that group go, but there's groups behind them ready to come up, and actually I think we got one or two left in North Alabama and Florence playing. And they finished up down south in the Mobile area, but Elk City was well represented in the last 4 days, 3-4 days, across the state from the north line to the south line, and that's something to be proud of too. Most cities go and play 1 or 2 games and come home, but Elk City, hangs out to the single elimination and still competes, and that's something to be proud of also.
Absolutely, and Alexander, a lot of time and effort, a lot of planning on your part and Candy's part, your wife, on being able to put this together. So many things, especially when you have a 20-team tournament going on. Most state tournaments have 8 to 10 teams. We had double that. So it's been great for our community. This isn't the only state tournament we hope to host in the future. We hope to host many more. As I talked to Sonny about it, people complimenting this park, complimenting our community. This is the first impression a lot of people have of Alex City because a lot of them may have never been here before. So they're going to take that perception back to their community, and we want to make sure it's a good perception. And when they go back and say, hey, I went to Alex City this past week, that place is awesome, that park is awesome, they had a great town, everybody was nice, hey, I might want to move there one day.
Oh, absolutely. And just to follow up with what you're saying, I also wanted to thank Miss Jennifer Baker over at the pool complex. That was a huge event that we put together on Saturday night. She played a huge role in that. Her lifeguards, her crew, from start to finish, did a great job. I also wanted to thank JR's, our local sports bar and grill. They called on Friday and offered for all coaches involved free meals for the weekend. Wow. Which that brought a lot of business to them, bringing the teams in. But there's not many businesses that are going to step out there and do that. And a lot of the visiting cities have commented on that and impressed with that. So Elk City's got a good name, and we've always had a good name when it came to baseball, football, whatever sports is going on, and we just continued that this time. So
well, Alexander, again, thank you so much for what you and your wife did and sacrificed. As you had a son playing, but you were trying to run a tournament on 4 fields while that was going on, plus the 13 through 15-year-old district tournament was going on. So every single field up here had some action this week, and it was a lot of excitement, big crowds. Thank you for what you guys have done and all the work and putting on a first-class tournament, Alexander. And again, on behalf of you and I, we're just so proud of what our kids were able to do and accomplish on this field as they all head to middle school now.
That's right. It's a sad day, but a good day. Moving on to the next level. But we're proud of them, and we thank everybody involved. It was a great tournament.
Thank you so much. That's Alexander Smith. He's the tournament director here for the Cal Ripken 12U baseball tournament here in Alexander City.
If you currently have an FHA mortgage, this commercial is for you. Most people that currently have an FHA mortgage are working with Home Place Mortgage to refinance their current loan. Several items have changed to make now the perfect time to refinance. FHA has reduced the amount of monthly mortgage insurance. Current interest rates for FHA loans are at all-time lows. FHA has eliminated the need for new appraisal. Most people will be able to refinance with little or no closing costs. This is the opportunity that you have been waiting for. Call now to start saving.
Show Enough Barbecue. Since 1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Show Enough is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. At Walls, you'll find a dedicated staff offering top quality service from routine maintenance to a full engine overhaul and everything in between. Brian Walls and the folks at Walls Tire are local folks that you know, and they provide the best service always at a fair price. Find out what the rest of the Lake Martin area already knows. Walls Tire is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. Just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
My parents got good news the other day. Mommy and Daddy were really happy. This is how happy they were. They were actually dancing. That was hard to watch. Ooh, at least they didn't kiss.
Russell Medical Center, delivering future leaders of tomorrow today.
We are Steel, German-engineered chainsaws and landscape products.
The majority of which are made here in America by Americans.
And exported to over 90 countries around the world.
Find out why Steel is #1 in America at steelusa.com.
Find your Steel outdoor products and more at the new Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Woo, it's hot outside.
Summer is here, and you can save like never before during the Drive and Discover event at Bice Motors. Save over $4,600 on this new, well-equipped Jeep Cherokee Sport, now just $20,500.
That's a good-looking Jeep.
Guaranteed lowest price, or we'll pay you the difference in price twice.
BiceChryslerDodge.com.
You won't get savings like these anywhere else.
Hey, well, right now we want to go to the phone line and welcome in our good friend Brian Matthews from AuburnSports.com. Brian, how's everything going?
Going pretty good. How about you guys?
Doing really well. Let's kind of jump right in it, Brian. A lot going on as we're kind of moving, I guess, to a dead period here in the recruiting, but a lot going on as Auburn gets a commitment, or I guess that's what we're going to call it, a commitment from Cameron Martin, as he apparently will enroll in school and be eligible to play here this season for Auburn. Can you kind of give us your evaluation of Cameron Martin?
Well, I thought that's a terrific pickup from. You know, they lost Rock Thomas to Jacksonville State, transferring out, and they're able to pick up a true freshman who's one of the fastest kids in the country. I think he's probably the fastest running back Auburn's had since Corey Grant. So I think that's a big addition to the program, a guy who can run the jet sweep when needed, and a guy I think can play right away if he can, pick up everything he needs to do and take care of that football.
I get. Is it fair to say that all 4 stars are not created equal? Say, like, it'd be my impression that coming out of Texas and being rated a 4-star and being rated really high as far as a running back coming out of that state would be certainly carry a little bit more weight to me than, coming out of somewhere else, like, say, Pennsylvania or maybe Rhode Island or somewhere like that.
Sometimes, but, because you got all these national camps and such and national all-star games, there's a lot of different opportunities to evaluate a kid, not just on their video. So I think the evaluations are a little bit closer to being more realistic nowadays.
He is 5'10", 178 pounds. That's what he's listed as. That's obviously not a big running back. Would you say that he, is a physical kid, or are we just talking about pure speed, a guy that's more of a jet sweep kind of guy?
Watch this video. I think right away he probably is more of a speed guy. But I've seen him in high school run between the tackles, show some toughness, get some yards after contact. So I think that's something you can develop over time. But I think right away, they're going to count on Javon Robinson and then Kerryon Johnson to be the main two tailbacks. And if he can do everything he needs to do, I think they can find a role for him as that speed back. And I think he can also help on special teams potentially.
Well, the other former Baylor commit, Kellen Mond, was down to Auburn and Texas A&M. He chose Texas A&M last night. What do you think went into that decision for him?
I just think he just felt more comfortable at Texas A&M. I think he had a good relationship with the coaches over there, and I think it was really, really close. And I think Auburn may have been the team to beat here a week or two ago, but that's recruiting. And these kids were recruited really hard by Auburn and Texas A&M both, and he made the decision to do that, and I think it also helped them being closer to home. And, them having some of his former teammates and some guys in Texas that he's played against and with already committed.
Well, with their history, do you want to put a number on how if he transfers out or not?
The season is here, and at Lakeside Marina and Watercraft Rentals, our deals are getting hot. Lakeside Marina is your Bennington pontoon dealer, built for performance, quality construction, and a luxurious feel. Bennington Pontoons at Lakeside Marina with the industry's best outboard motors from Yamaha. And visit our new location on the west side of Lake Martin on Highway 63, close to Kowaliga Bridge, with a full line of Bennington pontoons. Shop at Blue Creek or our new location on Highway 63 West Lake for the best in Bennington pontoon and Kawasaki watercraft.
Over the years, S&S Tire has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our two locations on Cherokee Road in Ellick City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Gotta get to Gill's Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gill's. Selection and price, got to get to Gill's. Gotta get to Gill's.
Did you know that Gill's Auto Sales now features the Prestige Selection at their North Lake and Opelika locations? Gill's Auto Sales now has over 100 Prestige vehicles in stock. Newer models, low mileage with bank financing available. Come see the Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales North Lake location and their new Opelika location. Gotta get to Gill's.
No pest is too big or too small for Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Protect your home or business today from insects, termites, mosquitoes, and more. Lex uses only the latest state-of-the-art technology and equipment to solve your pest problem, including the environmentally friendly Centricon termite baiting system. Lex has been servicing the Lake Martin area for over 35 years, and he has a full staff on hand. Call Lex today, even if it's just a question. 256-234-6162. Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Smart solutions to your pest problems.
I was on my way to work one morning. I had a very bad car accident. The guy ran a stop sign and crashed into me. I called one of the big city billboard lawyers, and I realized that I was just another number on a case file. They never would return my calls. I decided to contact Dane Sharp. He and his staff were very professional. They're always helpful, and best of all, they really care about me.
Don't trust your case to a billboard. I've recovered millions of dollars for my clients, and I'm right here in the Lake Martin area. So if you've been injured, give me a call.